What's up, YouTube? I am Cortland, and this is Ultimate Millennial. Today we are discussing Chapter 2, Desire, of Napoleon Hill's famed book, Think and Grow Rich, which gained its notoriety, its esteem, by helping people get money. So in this chapter he discusses the importance of desire and the importance of the magnitude of your desire. He starts the chapter by saying that it's not enough to have a wish or a hope or a dream of something. You must have a burning desire, a desire that fuels your soul. Those last few words are mine. The fuels your soul words are mine. And he gives a 6-step plan toward attaining wealth, specifically money, financial wealth, and it's actually essential to follow these steps because throughout the rest of the book he builds upon your initial, the assumption that you complied initially with these 6 steps. So, without further ado, I know it's pronounced ado, I did that on purpose. Step 1. Fix in your mind the exact amount of money that you want. I'm summarizing from the book. Fix in your mind exactly the amount of money that you want. Find a number and fix that number in your mind. Then determine exactly what you're willing to exchange for that money. And he doesn't mention it in the 6 steps, but he mentions it in a later part in the chapter. Not to scorn the dreamer. So you don't want to say, well, I'm going to make $100 by juggling salmon in the Civic Square Plaza. Don't criticize yourself for that, and don't say, oh, that's absurd, you could never make $100 juggling salmon in the Civic Square Plaza. He makes it abundantly clear later in the chapter that it is important not to scorn the dreamer, as he puts it. And I really like that phraseology. Number 3 is establish a definite date when you want to have the money by. So at this point you've fixed in your mind, 1, the exact amount of money you want to have, 2, the thing that you intend to trade for it, and 3, the date that you want it by. So so far we've got, I want $100 in exchange for juggling salmon in Civic Plaza by next Friday. I don't know what date that is, but know the exact date, he says. A definite date, he says. 4th is creating a plan for carrying out this thing. So, and then begin the plan at once, whether you are ready to or not. So, so I have fixed in my mind that I want $100 in exchange for juggling salmon and Civic Square Plaza by next Friday, and my plan is to go out and put a hat down and throw $1 in it so people know I'm trying to get money, and then juggle salmon. But I don't have salmon and I don't have a hat. So I need to start now regardless, without salmon, without hat, and find a way to make this thing happen. And then you write out a clear, concise picture of all of the things above. So you write, I want $100 in exchange for juggling salmon in Civic Square Plaza by next Friday, and this is how I'm going to do it. You write all that down. And then the final step is to read that twice daily out loud, just before going to bed and just before getting up in the morning. And I found that corresponds quite well with a lot of what successful people say that they do in regards to their goals. It's the last thing and the first thing that they think about, or the first and the last thing, depending on how you look at it. Right now it's the middle of the afternoon, so my goals will be the last thing I think about today and the first thing I think about tomorrow. But they were the first thing I thought about today, and they'll be the last thing as well. So anyway, he does say that sufficient imagination is pertinent to attaining these goals, because it's important, once you have your desire, to imagine yourself accomplishing your desire, and imagining yourself with that $100. Imagine yourself juggling salmon in Civic Square Plaza with a little hat in front of you and people just hurling $100 bills at you. I guess if your goal is $100, then people are just throwing quarters and $1 bills at you. And to envision the calendar and envision yourself holding the money and envision the feeling of success, the feeling of the miraculous accomplishment of making so much money just by juggling fish, man. So he does emphasize a lot the importance of imagination, but not the least. He mentions a thing called definiteness of purpose, which occurs several times throughout the book. And this definiteness of purpose is a quality rather than a goal. So it'd be more like an adjective than it would be a noun. And the idea is that your desire is an object. And in order to attain this object, you must have definiteness of purpose. So you would be single-mindedly focused on juggling salmon in Civic Square Plaza, and and you would rule out all other obstacles and things that might cloud your mind. And he mentions Cortez, and everyone, I think probably everyone, is familiar with Cortez and how he burned his ships when he was going into battle. And that created a mentality in his people that they would win or they would perish. It's do or die. You want your purpose to be like a white heat of burning passion for this thing in order to remain focused and centered through the obstacles which will most definitely arise. And he talks more in the following chapters about how to attain such definiteness, how to cultivate your faith in your desire, and how to and the necessity for persistence and the like. It's a very good book, and it is a powerful chapter. I think it's one of the most compelling for me, and so that's where I stand. Where do you stand? How do you feel about your desires in your life? And what do you think about Napoleon Hill's opinion of desire? Oh, one more time, those 6 steps, just so we're both like, there on it. Okay, so 1, define the exact amount of money that you want to make. 2, decide what you're going to trade for that money. 3, decide when you want that money by. 4, create a plan to attain that money. 5, write that plan down. 6, read that plan right before bed and right after you wake up. And may your life be full of desire.